There have been several TV and cable archaeology shows, such as The Curse of Oak Island and Expedition Unknown, which feature working flooded sites containing muddy water that prevent visibility for efficient and safe work. Of course, many of these shows likely want to create what appear to be dangerous situations for dramatic purposes to keep the audience interested. Further, the inefficiency of these situations tends to give the impression the cast members are working hard. Inefficiency also works to fill up more viewing time. Usually, I find myself thinking, I can't believe they're doing it that way. In Expedition Unknown, the divers followed a rope through the murky water because they couldn't see. On The Curse of Oak Island, a flocculate was put in the water in an unsuccessful attempt to drop the particles out of suspension. In addition to these shows, there are archaeological ship recoveries where a cofferdam is built requiring substantial and continuous pumping and keeping the water out. In some cases, a layer of water is left on the artifacts, since if they dry out they will tend to disintegrate. While it's not feasible in many situations to remove the water from a site because of the hydrostatic pressure from the surrounding soil or water body, it should be possible to make the water clear enough to be able to work efficiently and safely. As the water is cleaned, additional clean water could be added to the work area to increase the hydrostatic pressure inside to reduce the intrusion of dirty water from outside. The process of removing suspended solids would also reduce the threat of dissolved hydrogen sulfide coming out of the water in a restricted area killing people, as happened with a father and son, and 2 other workers at Oak Island. The proposed process should operate on the surface downwind from people and the worksite. Since hydrogen sulfide is heavier than air, it should be prevented from flowing back into the work area. It is also combustible and will corrode equipment, so care needs to be taken to move it away. I have seen the use of suction hoses in archaeological sites and gold mining shows. A suction hose can be sent down to pull up the dirty water from the work area. At the same time, an extra volume of clean water and the cleaned return water can be sent down another hose to stir up the sediment into the water, allowing for it to be sucked up. Any relatively light loose material should be sucked up, because divers or ROVs will stir up this material. Mats might be laid in some of the flooded areas which aren't to be worked at that time to reduce material from being stirred. Hydrogen sulfide would be sucked up with the water and leave downwind into the open atmosphere. The water would fall onto a looping self-cleaning screen for possible artifacts and then onto a looping self-cleaning filter for removing suspended solids. In this illustration of the proposed device, I show an initial screen like a bug screen used for Windows to collect possible artifacts onto which the dirty water falls on the side of the assembly the archaeologists are monitoring. An air blower hits the back of the screen to dislodge any items off the screen that gravity doesn't take. Below that, the dirty water falls onto the fine filter which removes the suspended solids from the water. The fine filter also loops moving in the opposite direction of the screen, and when the leading edge inverts, a blower blows the material off the filter that gravity doesn't take, falling onto a spoil pile on the opposite side of where archaeologists are working. The clarified water would then go into a pipe returning down into the work area. This process would be started a few hours before the divers or ROVs enter the flooded area. It can also continue while they work, since some sediment will be kicked up. I'm not sure how these situations are handled in the world outside of these TV shows, and I was unable to find anything on the internet, but I thought I would throw this out. Maybe it will give someone an idea on how to solve a problem.